Welcome back, everyone. Scott here, and this is our part 3 of the 41-way ceramic coatings longevity and comparison test. If you followed along with the other 2 videos in this series, part 1 was the SDS, going through an introduction of these products and what's in them. Part 2 was showing you the hood that we started with, polishing and the prep that went into it, and the final product of what everything will be applied to. Now part 3. We'll go through the application process. This specific video will be referenced back in the future because I always want to show how everything was applied in case there was a question as to whether there was an installer error or not. The gloss will be measured with our $3,000 Alcometer 480 dual angle gloss meter before and after the application to measure any gains or losses in measurable gloss. The reason that I went with this meter is because after trying a few of the cheap ones online in the $200 to $400 range, I just could not get repeatable results within the instrument's margin of error. Enter Alcometer. Buy once, cry once, but repeatable, consistent results it does have. Furthermore, some of the cheaper ones do not measure at the 20-degree angle, which is what's needed for a high-gloss surface. 60 degrees is what most of these measure, and that's intended for more of a matte or satin surface, which of course is not what we're after here. If you're measuring a high-gloss surface with a 60-degree meter, it's going to read above 100, which is just, it's not accurate. You need 20 degrees for a high gloss surface, and that's what we have. This meter will measure both if you're curious, but we're after 20 degrees. Take this next part with a grain of salt, but they will be tested for UV resistance using our FLIR X-Tech UV 505 meter that measures UVA and UVB resistance. We will be applying this to a piece of transparency. The alternative is glass, I suppose, but regardless, I say with a grain of salt because this is not a painted surface, but it is transparent, which is what we need to measure it. Next, we'll let it cure, and then we'll test it with an immediate before and after reading. And we have to do it quickly for the befores and afters since the UV can vary greatly depending on cloud cover, sun angle, the meter angle, and so on. Therefore, because of this, these products will all be measured within about the same 10-minute window, still with the before reading taken before measuring each. I'll show you more at the end of the video about this as there's a little bit more to this. Let's get into the application of everything now. For each product, I'll leave a timestamp in the description, but I'll go over the installation instructions which were followed as stated on the bottle, label, or website if there wasn't any in the packaging. Some of these had no instructions whatsoever, so I did the usual apply, wait 2 minutes, and wipe that most typical ceramic coatings adhere to. I'll also give you my experience as to how they were to apply, to wipe on, wipe off, or level, as it's called, after letting it sit for the prescribed amount of time. Also note, everything is to receive 2 coats. So if there's language in the instructions about 2 coats or additional coats waiting X amount of time, we waited that. So most of them are 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours between coats. I think there's one that was 12 hours. Basically, if it said to wait between coats, we waited between coats. Appearing in alphabetical order, we're starting with AmmoNYC. Wear gloves, wear a mask. Here we go. $159, made in the USA. Has a slight loss of gloss, no UV blocking. It was simple to apply, didn't smell bad, but it was very greasy, and it was tacky to remove and to level. Showing you the live gloss meter readings. As we do the other products, I'm not going to show you this. I'm just going to show you a picture of the before and the after. I searched around the panel for the befores and the afters, the highest reading that we could find. If the product says to shake well, we will of course shake well. In most cases, we'll shake it anyways, even if it doesn't say that. Next up is Apex Surface Protection Metal Oxide Coating by Art to Shine. $162.99 is what I paid. It was very simple to use, easy on, easy off. It did have quite a strong odor to it. Now we're on to Apex or Art to Shine Rehydra Bead Spray. This was $32.99, made in Singapore. Had no measurable gloss or UV resistance increase or blocking. Very simple to use. Applied to a damp microfiber applicator. And again, the application instructions, I'm going off of Brian at Apex Detail, his instructions that he had from his video, but it's also the same thing he has on his website. Avalon King Armor Shield, $74.98, made in China. It was installed at the proper temperatures. Very easy to install and remove. Apply it, let it sit for anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes depending on the temperature, and then you let it sit for about an hour before applying the second coat. Carpro CQuartz Finest Reserve. This is the 2021 version. Costs $149, but it is professional only. Very easy to use. And it does have to be infrared cured. We will cure it at the same time as Carpro CQuartz Professional. So there's the date. The first, January 29th of 2021 was the manufacturer date. Brand new in the wrapper. CQuartz Professional, $129, also professional only. Has a measured increase in gloss of 2.5 gloss units. So that would be a measurable increase beyond the margin of error of the meter. Very easy to apply, much like the CQuartz Finest Reserve. And this is also a 2021 version. I know that there were some issues with some versions of them, of each of these. I'm not sure exactly the details. These are the 2021 versions where the bugs have supposedly been resolved or worked out. February 2nd, 2021. Now we're going to go ahead and do our infrared curing. I'm going to show you here the temperature of the panel, slowly heating it up as to these two squares. Once we get it where we want it, we'll have it there for at least 30 minutes. So we're looking for about 135 degrees, or I think that's around 57 degrees Celsius. Have my FLIR 130 infrared so you can see hot spots on the hood. make sure everything, or I'm sorry, 130 is 54, so 135 should be 57. Good old English and metric conversions, hard to do in my head. So just wanted to make sure we had no excuses as to if there's a failure. I wanted to show you guys that it is being properly cured using the proper infrared method for the prescribed amount of time. So there should not be any question as to whether or not this was properly installed, properly cured. On to Chemical Guy's Carbon Force Ceramic Coating. Has a very strong ammonia-like odor. It's $140 and it was very easy to apply, very easy to remove. Chemical Guy's Hydrocharge, about $40, made in US. It does have a slight increase in gloss. It had a very strong solvent-like odor to it, very greasy feeling, but it was also otherwise very easy to use. Chemical Guy's Hydroslick, also $40, very easy to apply and remove. However, this is my first time ever using this particular product. I want to hear your opinions here. Look closely here at the video and the application. It looks like it's kind of gelatinous, and I don't know if this was, because I ordered this off of Amazon. I don't know if maybe it came from somewhere up north where it froze. If that's why it's acting like this. If you guys have used this before, let me know in the comments if this looks normal to you or if there's some issues. I have run into something like this in the past, I think with Hydroslick or one of their products, where it had separated. So like it froze and thawed. So please let me know in the comments so at least I know if there's something wrong there. Dallas Paint Correction, $74.95, made in not sure because he doesn't disclose any of that. Won't disclose the SDS or anything like that. It has just a slight odor to it, but it's otherwise easy to apply and remove. So really no issues there. It was right up against the margin of error for the meter for gloss at -2. So still within the margin of error, so no gloss change. So just to eliminate any questions, I'm showing you the live video of me checking the final gloss reading. So that was the highest I could get, 81.7. Dallas Paint Correction T9. It has the largest loss of gloss of any product on this test at -6.1 measured. That is significant. It's visual. There's the before reading, and I will show you a live video of the after reading after we apply it here. I should be wearing gloves, but again, don't know where it's made, don't know what's in it because the SDS isn't disclosed. I have requested it, don't have it. We waited 1 hour, 5 minutes between coats. Easy to apply, easy to remove, has a mild odor to it, nothing extremely strong. So here's the after. You can see we're really struggling to even get out of the 70s. The human eye can detect differences of about 5 gloss units. So applying this product decreased the gloss on this particular panel, measured by a proper meter. Drive Victory Nano. This is a slight increase in gloss, very easy to apply, very easy to remove. Again, no issues there. If you followed any of my older tests, Drive Auto has one product. I believe it's the Victory Gloss Coat. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. One of those was one of the long-term tests, probably in the top 5. Good product that has held up. So this is a different product that he now offers. EELHOE. This is the Chinese coating. It was a little over $3, made in China, advertised as 12H hardness, which obviously doesn't exist. It said 12H on the advertisement. Comes in a plastic bottle, 10H plus, graphene, UV, hydrocoat, hits all the buzzwords. It literally smells like soap and water. When you apply it to the panel, it will evaporate completely on its own, as you can see right there. It'll evaporate to the point where you pretty much don't even have to wipe it. Don't know what's in it. Can't find an SDS. If you look on their website, it says 80% graphene, 20% silica, which of course we know is not the case. Fortador Kevlar coating, made in the EU, $599. It was sent to me at no charge, with me paying the shipping. Again, within the margin of error, no change in gloss or UV resistance. The one thing that I was corrected on with the install of this, and I was corrected after the fact here. You apply the primer just like you're seeing here, and then you let it dry, which we did. But when you apply the paste, you're not supposed to apply it with the brush. The intention of the brush is to transfer it from the container to your applicator, but it still applies and didn't have any issues. So the reason you're going to see me applying it in 2 different areas here is because Fortador, they had asked if I could do one area where we reapply it every 3 to 6 months as the instructions intend, instead of just putting it on, letting it sit there and seeing how well it does. So the original square that has the text on it, we're not going to touch that after this. The little strip on the far right, we will reapply it every 3 to 6 months, depending on how it's doing. I'm not sure how that's going to really help in this test, because the point of this is a longevity test. If you continue to reapply it, of course it can go forever. We'll revisit that when we get to it, but it does come off and removes like a traditional wax, where you let it completely dry and then it uses a little bit of elbow grease in order to remove it. But the worry with the brush is you can scratch the paint, and it's a soft brush, but we're not worried about scratching the paint here. However, we did not scratch the paint. They do have a quantity discount on this that cuts it in half. So if you buy 2 of the kits, it goes from $600 down to $300. So I guess if you bought 2 kits, it would still be $600. Gloss at 5H, $130, sent to me no cost. Everything within the margin of error. Shake well, apply it, wait 5 to 10 minutes between coats, and of course, wipe off. Glossit Pro 10H quartz ceramic coating, $350, professional only, sent to me at no cost. Mild solvent odor, very easy to apply and to remove, no issues there. Griots Garage Ceramic 3-in-1 SiO2 Spray. You can find it locally at your AutoZone if you're in the US for between $20 and $25. Otherwise, Amazon Prime, it's around $30 or $32. Doing very well in my ceramic spray coatings test. You guys have requested that I test it once again just to make sure we have some consistent results. One thing that's different about this spray compared to others is you have to layer it with 12 to 24 hours in between. Gtechniq Crystal Serum Ultra, professional only, $119, has an increase in gloss and very easy to use. However, it can be slightly tacky when you go and level it. One thing that I found slightly humorous, there's only a couple products on this hood test that are doing this, but look at how slippery the surface is on Gtechniq compared to some of the others. Gtechniq just slides off. Gyeon Q2 Can Coat, made in South Korea. About $60 is what it cost me. Spray on, wipe off. Has a mild solvent odor. It's a very greasy feeling, making it slightly difficult to level. You have to have, either flip your microfiber towel multiple times or have a second cleaner microfiber towel to wipe it with. But it is otherwise very easy to use, especially being in a spray form. Comes with multiple sprayers, most likely because if you leave the sprayer in the product, the next time you use it, the sprayer will be ruined. So you just use a new sprayer each time. IGL EZ Graphene had 4 gloss units, loss of gloss. Second worst in the test. It was also tested on the graphene products test, which will start here on May 1st as well. It also lost about the same amount of gloss on that test. It's a 1-coat product. Apply it, wipe it, leave it, and that's it. And it can be very tacky. Apply it, remove it immediately. IGL Premier, it's apply, wipe, wait till the haze is gone. It has a very slight kind of a waxy odor to it, but it can be tricky to level. It can be streaky if you're not careful. You have to apply it, that haze, you have to basically wipe it as soon as you see it. Otherwise, it's going to be a little tricky to remove. We've tested Premier in multiple tests. This will probably be the last test it'll be in for a while. I think this is the 4th time now that it's been tested. Lonestar ceramic coating pre-production. This was again sent to me at no cost. Pre-production, I don't know much else about it. Slight odor. It reminds me of a traditional ceramic coating. You apply it, let it sit for 2 minutes, wipe it off, and it's not very fussy, but if you let it sit on longer, it will be slightly tacky to significantly tacky, depending on the humidity, depending on the heat. So it has a familiar odor to it too. I've tested hundreds of different ceramic coatings. There's a lot of them have a similar smell. That one has a similar smell. Meguiars 3-in-1, very easy to use. Add some gloss. You apply it like a traditional wax. When you wipe it off, it does not come off like a traditional wax where you have to use a lot of elbow grease, a lot of effort, pressure. This just wipes right off, very easy. And I did purchase this one at my local Walmart, my local big box store. Meguiars hybrid paint coating. This replaced the M688 and the M788 that did not, I believe, come out in the US. It's a much lower price point, has a little bit of a solvent odor to it, but again, it's very easy to use. We're making sure we install it at the proper temperature because it did specifically state a temperature it needed to be installed at. Remember me saying that there's a couple products that are just exceptionally slippery. This is one of them. Not quite like Gtechniq Ultra, but you can see the angle. You know, the hood's sitting on a flat table, but it has a very slight incline, and it just slides right off. Nano Age, also known as NanoBond 9H, made in China, $36. Apply, wait 2 minutes, wipe it off. It has kind of a pungent odor to it. It's not a pleasant smell. If it's anything like it's behaved in previous tests, this will be one of the competitors that will make it towards the end. The biggest thing that I see with the Chinese coatings is they're not consistent. You can buy 3 different batches at 3 different times, and you'll have one that lasts a week, one that lasts a month, and one that lasts a year. Nanoskin ceramic sealant. Don't know exactly where it's made because it doesn't say. It does have a slight increase in gloss. It smells nice, very easy to apply, very easy to remove. Nanoskin T1, extremely strong ammonia odor. It's very tacky to remove at 30 minutes, so you may want to shorten that. Hopefully it doesn't affect the longevity of it, but I installed it as instructed and it was extremely tacky. So this is in a climate controlled environment with 47% humidity. So if you live in a warm, humid climate, would definitely not suggest this product because you're going to have a very, very difficult time. Otherwise, you're going to have to shorten the time that it sits on the paint to let it flash tremendously. Nanoskin T3 Ultra has a mild ammonia odor. I did make the mistake of leaving this on here 30 minutes thinking that it was like the T1 product. It's actually 15 minutes. The first one that I ordered from Amazon came damaged, so they had to replace it. But when I first applied it, I let it sit here for 30 minutes and then noticed it was extremely tacky. Then I went to go look at the instructions again and it said, 10 to 15 minutes. So the second layer, we did 15 minutes, and it was still a little bit tacky. So it's much like the T1, where I think if you're in a warm or humid environment, this product's going to be pretty difficult to deal with. next 5 products are from NGNT, and this is a company in Switzerland that sent me a really nice sample kit. Didn't pay for it. They contacted me, asked if they could send it to me, put it in the test. Really well laid out instructions. The company, I guess when they enter the US market, will be under a different name than what you're seeing here. They have different levels of protection, 6, 12 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, and then one is 10 years. Thing that I've noticed, and again, this is my opinion, there's 2 products there, the 2K and the 3K, which you'll see here shortly. They have multiple steps with a lot of time between the steps. If you're going to do 2 coats, which the instructions in most instances do say that it requires 2 coats of each product, it's going to take you a long time to install these products. So if you're in a shop that does a lot of volume, that may be a little tricky. I'm showing you for each of these products the instructions that were included. So you can pause the video on each of those frames and you can see, but I also put it at the beginning when I talk about each product here as well. This is the first of 2 that I just talked about that are fairly complex to install. So read the instructions there and you can see you have to have infrared curing lamps if you want to shorten the time. Otherwise you have to wait 6 hours between going from the first part to the second part. And then again you have to wait between each layer for each part as well. And this is their flagship coating. 3 parts or 3 different products to install to make one protective layer. 10-year warranty, lots of time between layers, multiple steps. Hopefully the final product will be very durable in the longevity test. New finish, ceramic spray coating. It smells like straight isopropyl alcohol, and the SDS confirms it. It's like 80% alcohol. Very easy to apply, very easy to remove. You can purchase it at your local big box store, auto parts store, Amazon. Lots of places sell this now. I've been talking about it since last September when they first started mentioning anything about it. So I was happy to finally be able to purchase it. Owner's Pride, not sure where it's made, has a slight increase in gloss, no change in UV blocking, very similar odor to Tech 580 and Speedcoat, very easy to use, wipe on, wipe off. This is a professional only coating. I believe it's $175 without a warranty or $299 with a warranty. The manufacturer is in Omaha, Nebraska, in the middle of the United States, the Midwest. On to Seafoam Fast Finish, $7.87 with tax is what I paid from my local Walmart. You guys had requested it. Here it is. It is 1 cent per milliliter. It smells great. Very easy to use, wipe on, wipe off, very simple. Speedcoat. This is, again, very similar to Tech 580 and Owner's Pride. Very similar in the gloss levels and the UV resistance as well. Very easy to use, very easy to apply. Removes without a fuss. You know, it's not tacky whatsoever when you remove it. And the infamous Tech 580 Technician's Choice ceramic coating, $18.75. You have to watch the shipping on this because there's different places, maybe $18, but it's $20 shipping or something like that. Like Owner's Pride and Speedcoat, very similar in smell, in gloss increase, in UV resistance, and how it applies and how it removes. Very easy to use product. Underdog, the Sauce Pro. I'm not sure where it's made. The company is based out of Texas. It essentially had no change in gloss, no measurable UV blocking. It's a newer company. You apply it, let it sit on the surface for 10 to 20 minutes depending on the temperature. Again, I'm in a climate controlled shop, so we let it sit on for 20 minutes, remove it, and it removes very easily. It's not tacky whatsoever. Easy to work with. I think it's marketed more towards the DIYer, the weekend warrior, not the professional. And here we have Werixin or Werixin, another Chinese coating. 10H hardness is what it's advertised as, $25, made in China. Very easy to use. Again, a very familiar smell. A lot of these coatings have a certain smell to them. It's not a solvent, it's very hard to describe, but there's a lot of them that have this, and I know the reason behind that, and I'm going to talk about this in later videos, but there is a Chinese supplier that makes a lot of these coatings that are then rebranded in the US. That's why there's a familiar smell. Lastly, Extreme Solutions Polyseal. Made in the USA, $16.98. It is a wet application. You spray it on in a wet or damp applicator, wipe it on the paint, you rub it in until it disappears, and then you use a clean microfiber to wipe it off. So as long as you got that down, it is buttery smooth to use as far as wiping it off. Very, very easy product to use. And finally, if you have watched my graphene video, the graphene products video, you've seen some of this. This is our Gtechniq UV505 meter. What is important about this, I have a piece of paint protection film attached to the transparency here. Watch the ability to block UV rays. So we're 5.5 microwatts. You put just the transparency on and it goes down to 4.1. And now 0.006, 0.007 with the paint protection film. So paint protection film is advertised to block 97, 98, 99% of UV rays, and it's obvious that it does right there. So here's an example using IGL Premier, where it's the top has nothing, the bottom has the product applied, and it really does nothing. In some instances, some of these products actually amplify. That's just food for thought. These are applied to plastic, you know, a transparency piece of paper instead of paint, but take that for what it is. There was essentially no signs of any of these products blocking anything significant for UVA, UVB rays, using a not inexpensive meter to test that. It's also similar results on the graphene products test as well. Well, there we have it. We've made it to the end. Now it's time to start the actual tests. These products were all applied in the second week of April 2021 in my evenings after the work. Just this one video, part 3, consisted of over 35 hours of filming, you know, literally watching paint dry for you guys. Nearly 1,000 different clips and almost another week of editing just for this one video. There are many thousands of dollars that went into this test, let alone the graphene products test that's starting at the same time too. Just want to thank you guys for watching this series. Be sure you're subscribed, like, comment down below. I have the timestamps in the description for your convenience. And again, I want to thank you to my patrons and subscribers that continue to make tests like these possible, and I continue to make my promise to you guys that I will always remain unsponsored, unbiased, so we can find the best products out there for your hard-earned dollar. Thanks again, guys, and we will see you soon.